What if the only thing holding you back from the life you've always wanted is your way of thinking? Not your job, not your history, not your situation, but your thoughts. Because here's a fact. Success begins in your mind, not in your bank account, but in your mind. You don't wait to be wealthy before you can begin thinking wealthy. You behave wealthy. And that's how you become wealthy. So the question is, are you ready to stop waiting and start becoming? Wealth begins in the mind first and only comes later in the bank. That's where it starts. In your workplace, not in your bank statement, not in the economy, but in the silent space between your ears. That's the battlefield where financial futures are created or destroyed. Because the mind is the factory where all the plans, dreams, objectives, and beliefs are manufactured. And if you get your head correct, the rest will fall into place. Bad thinking is a virus. It infects quietly, creeping into decisions, conversations, and habits. It makes you believe there's not enough, that the system is against you, that others are getting rich, but you are not. Kind of thinking doesn't just prevent people from advancing. It keeps them stuck year after year, wondering why nothing is different. But if you change your thinking, everything begins to change. Rich thinking doesn't equate with arrogance. It doesn't equate with pretending. It involves thinking in possibility, worth, value, and abundance. It involves believing that there is room for you to flourish. It involves realizing that where you are right now does not shape your potential. The rich thinker views roadblocks and finds opportunity. The poor thinker views limitations and shuts the door before it even opens. The poor thinker asks, why does this always happen to me? Whereas the rich thinker asks, what's the lesson here? Your thoughts turn into your beliefs influence your behavior, and your behavior construct your results. That's the chain. Therefore, if you desire different results, you need to go upstream and rewire your thinking. You need to be more deliberate about what you bring into your mind. What you read, what you hear, what you talk about, and who you're around. Surround yourself with negative thinkers, scarcity talkers, and excuse makers, and you shouldn't be surprised when you begin to sound unlike them. Reading one great book can do more for your economic future than a year of hard work if it changes the way you think. Listening to an audio program on your drive home can quietly erode the old restrictive habits and seed new concepts that result in expansion. Writing down your dreams and picturing a brighter tomorrow can begin to redefine who you are. And when that occurs, your choices start aligning with a greater standard. And rich thinking is knowing cause and effect. It's knowing that everything costs something and you're willing to pay. It's not expecting something for nothing. It's knowing that effort and skill and persistence are needed, and it's not afraid of that truth. It accepts it. That's rich thinking. Poor thinking seeks shortcuts and cheats and lotteries. Rich thinking seeks strategy, systems, and service. The mind is the soil. What you sow, you'll reap. Sow fear and you'll reap hesitation. Sow doubt and you'll harvest procrastination. But sow belief, discipline, and clarity, and you'll begin to reap results. You may have all the ambition in the world, but if your mind is broken, you'll keep going around in circles, which is why the most critical work is always the work within. Others want to create empires, but they've not constructed a mindset to support it. They desire wealth, but they've not established the mental paradigm that brings it. Having rich thinking is not necessarily accumulating money. It is making yourself the type of individual who can handle it, grow it, and utilize it effectively. If you gave the poor thinker $1 million within a year, he or she would lose it. If you gave a wealthy philosopher $100, they'd manage to increase it. Why? Because the asset isn't the money, the brain is. Now let's carry it a step further. You get paid for what you contribute, not for how long you work. That's tough to hear, but it's also free. It means your pay isn't capped by your hours. It's capped by your skill set, your imagination, your work ethic, and your problem-solving abilities. You can work 12 hours a day and remain broke. But the more value you create for the marketplace, the more your income has to increase. That's the rule. Time is an equalizer. We all have the same 24 hours, but value is not equal. One may work an hour and earn $10. Another may work the same hour and earn $10,000. The distinction is not in the clock, it's in the contribution. The market pays those who create greater problems, give more value, and assume more responsibility. You must quit exchanging time for dollars and begin exchanging value for recognition. That is, you must learn. You must practice. You must develop. You must improve at your work. Improve at communication. Improve at leadership. Improve at people. Because as you become more valuable to the marketplace, that's when you will be rewarded. Not because somebody feels sorry for you, but because you're in alignment. Humans do not pay for time. They pay for change. They pay for outcomes. They pay for solutions. If you are an employee, a business person, or a creative professional, the idea is the same. If you want to earn more you. That could mean learning, reading, bettering your skills, or discovering ways to help more people in fewer hours. Whatever it is, don't wait for someone to tell you to grow. Choose to grow because your future is at stake. You may be one skill away from a six-figure salary. You may be one idea away from revolutionizing your business. You may be one mindset shift away from an entirely new level of freedom. But none of that happens when you're in the headspace of punch the clock and hope something changes. Hope isn't a strategy. Growth is. The individual who researches an hour a day will surpass the individual who works more diligently but never gets better. The individual who learns to harness technology, systems, and teams will finally surpass the person who only gets the job done through effort alone. Because at the end of the day, it's not how busy you are, it's how well you do things. And it's knowledge, awareness, and action that bring effectiveness. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, ask yourself, not what do I have to do today, but how can I add more value today? That's a rich thinker's question. It creates action. It creates progress. It creates income. When you concentrate on value, time becomes your friend. But when you concentrate on time alone, value evaporates. There is a distinction between being busy and being productive. A spinning wheel spins rapidly but does not go anywhere. Don't confuse activity with progress. The world is full of busy, broke, stressed, and stuck people. But the individuals who build their value, individuals who think rich and act rich, are on a distinctly different journey. Because when you think correctly and you deliver value, pay catches up eventually. Rich thinking focuses on solutions, not problems. That's one of the key differences between those who rise and those who stay stuck. Problems are everywhere. Anyone can find one. In fact, most people specialize in it. They can list what's wrong with the world, their job, the government, the economy, the weather, and everything in between. But that kind of thinking won't change anything. It only magnifies the issue. It leaves individuals trapped in a cycle of complaining, thinking, and doing nothing. Rich thinking, by contrast, sees the same circumstance and begins to scan out immediately what can be done, what resources are on hand, and how to turn the circumstance around. Rich thinkers do have problems. It's just that they don't allow problems to define them. They react instead of respond. They don't freeze with failures. They come up with alternatives. They don't sit around worrying about what didn't work. They wonder how it can be fixed. Their focus is on potential, not restrictions. While others are waiting for something to happen, wealthy thinkers are wondering, what can I do to produce a better outcome? They remain in the driver's seat, even when the path becomes rocky. You see, your attention sets the direction. If you invest your mental power in rerunning the size of the problem, it will loom larger in your mind and diminish your confidence. But if you channel that same energy into looking for a solution, your mind starts to grow. Solutions create momentum. Solutions empower. Solutions energize. Solutions inspire action. Solutions draw you forward. The world's wealthiest individuals are not those who steer clear of problems, but those who solve them for others. Every business, every product, every innovation came into being because someone had asked, what's the solution to that pain, that need, that gap? And then they went about creating it. They made the solution, not the problem, their priority. As a result, they were handsomely rewarded. If you wish to acquire riches, don't search for money, search for issues you can solve. Then solve them faster, better, or more innovatively than the rest. That's value's foundation. That's where their earnings are derived. Customers don't pay you because they like you. They pay you because you resolve something for them. They pay for relief. They pay for solutions. They pay for convenience. The more problems you solve, the richer you become, not just financially, but in confidence, skills, and impact. It begins with a shifting of mind. The next time a challenge presents itself to you, And it will take a minute and listen to your internal conversation. Are you in a panic, blaming, distancing yourself? Or are you saying, what's the opportunity here? What's the lesson? What can I make out of this? That's the fork in the road. One way leaves you where you are. The other leads to something new. Now let's discuss discipline, because without it, none of this matters. Discipline is the backbone of all true wealth. Without discipline, dreams are merely fantasies. You can have all the great ideas, the right goals, and all the motivation on earth, but without discipline, it all disappears. It vanishes, success becomes sporadic, transitory, or unattainable. But with discipline, small, regular, purposeful acts, you create something that endures. Discipline is doing what needs to get done, even if you don't want to. It's waking up early when you want to stay in bed. It's completing the assignment when you want to be sidetracked. It's reading the book instead of getting another episode. Discipline is the distance between the chatterbox and the walker. It's the difference between make-believe and actual outcome. The reality is, wealth isn't made overnight. It's made in the moments nobody sees. The morning routine, the budgeting, the saving, the investing, the learning, the refining. Those tiny choices add up over time. They create your habits, and your habits create your results. Discipline puts action into momentum, and momentum into results. You don't require a flawless plan. You require consistent discipline. The one who advances gradually will eventually outpace the one who begins in a hurry and then gives up halfway. Discipline isn't about moving quickly. It's about being at the game long enough for your work to materialize. It's the steady motor behind all the success tales. It's also the guardrail for your emotions, because feelings are unpredictable. They're up and down. One day you're energized, the next day you're not. If you live by your feelings, your life will be a roller coaster. But if you live by discipline, your results will be stable, predictable, and solid. That's what sets winners apart from wishers. Discipline also creates trust with yourself. Each time you do as you say, you demonstrate to your own mind that you're not joking, that you can be counted on, that your word is valuable. And the moment you create that self-trust, your confidence expands exponentially. You no longer second guess, you no longer hesitate, and you begin stepping into larger stages. Here's the magic of discipline. It takes no talent. It takes no genius. It doesn't care about where you were born, what you did last year, or how many times you failed. All it asks is, will you show up today and do the work? If the answer is yes, every day, everything changes. Your habits change, your mind changes, your bank account changes. Discipline is also contagious. It overflows into other parts of your life. If you get disciplined about your health, you have more energy to go after your dreams. If you get disciplined with your finances, you open up space for investing in expansion. If you get disciplined with your time, you create space for what is important. One supports the next, much like a ripple. And this is the thing. Discipline is freedom. Most people get it backwards. They think discipline equals restriction and control. But here's the reality. Discipline sets you free. Discipline sets you free from guilt, from chaos, from regret. It creates margin. It builds confidence. It gives you a say in your direction rather than going with the flow. It gives you the steering wheel of your own life. So if you wish to be wealthy, not merely in finances, but in choice, liberty, and satisfaction, you require discipline. It's not flashy. It's not boisterous, but it's formidable. And it's open to anyone who will conduct life on principle rather than impulse. That's the cost of achievement, and it's a cost well paid. For though motivation can spur you to begin, only discipline can carry you to the finish line. Success is attracted by the person you become. That principle is as simple as it is powerful. If you want to have more, you must become more. Not in an arrogant way. Not in a way that's driven by ego or image, but in a way that's deeply rooted in personal growth. Success is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens because of you. It appears when your habits, mentality, discipline, and choices are in sync with what success requires. It's not about pursuing opportunities. It's about becoming the sort of person opportunities pursue. The fact is, we don't get what we desire. We receive what we deserve. That's a hard pill for some, but it's also the most liberating. Because if you can become the type of person worthy of more, the more you desire will arrive. It means your future isn't predetermined. It's malleable, it's pliable, and it's in direct proportion to the decisions you make on a daily basis. Each book you read, each talent you master, each bad habit you eliminate, each good habit you create. Those little things define your future. They define who you're becoming. And as you change, your results change with you. You can't stay the same and hope your life levels up. Growth is the fee you pay for the next level. Success isn't seeking a perfect individual. It's seeking an adequately prepared individual. It's not concerned with where you're coming from, how old you are, or what your background is. It only cares to know, are you prepared? Have you set yourself up mentally, emotionally, and skillfully for what you're requesting? If you wish to earn more, you have to become someone who takes on more responsibility. If you desire better relationships, you need to become someone who communicates effectively, listens effectively, and leads with greater patience and strength. If you desire greater time freedom, you need to become someone who masters time, possessing discipline and concentration. The formula never changes. Your outcomes will always equal your own personal development. The key is that each space of success is a reflection of what you've become. Do you want better money? Become wiser with money. Do you want better health? Become healthier in habit. Do you want a better life? Become a better you. The outer world mirrors the inner world. The check mirrors the value you offer. The relationships mirror the energy you provide. The opportunities mirror the belief and readiness you hold. And here's the truth. No one can do this work for you. You can be coached, mentored, and inspired, but you have to become. You have to make decisions that you're no longer going to settle for living under your potential. You have to take a stand in the sand and say, from today on, I will work on me more than I work on anything else. That's when the shift happens. That's when you stop chasing and you start attracting. Now let's expand on that concept. Because success also requires that money, opportunity, and expansion are attracted to clarity, order, and purpose. Money is attracted to structure, not disorder. It's attracted to systems, not guesswork. Money moves towards responsibility and purpose, not towards confusion or randomness. If your life is disorganized, if your time is not managed, if your priorities are fuzziness, then don't count on steady wealth to linger. It may drop by for a visit, but it won't linger. Your external world reflects your internal world, and if your mind is cluttered, then so will be your outcomes. Money craves a home, a system, a structure. It craves clarity. When you approach your time as if it counts, money takes notice. When you take the little you have and care with it on purpose, you're signaling that you're open to more. The individual who squanders $100 will squander 1,000. The individual who doesn't monitor small revenue won't honor big revenue. That is why routine does matter. This is where habits and routines enter into the picture. When you wake up with intention, when your calendar is a reflection of your objectives, when your to-do list is driven by vision rather than urgency, you start living at a pace where money feels at ease being with you. Individuals get freedom mixed up with a lack of framework, but freedom is a result of discipline and planning. The more that life gets structured, the roomier you leave space for development, innovation, and prosperity. Take a look at your physical space. Is it organized? Take a look at your calendar. Is it busy or busy accomplishing things? Take a look at your money. Are they organized with understanding or sidestepped in fear or disorganization? These are the things that wealth takes notice of. Clarity is power. When direction is in your life, when your objectives are clear, when your actions are congruent, success feels drawn to you. Purpose is another key. Money runs after purpose. If you don't know what you do with money, you likely won't hold on to it for long. Purpose gives meaning to your work. It makes work become mission. It makes business become impact. Purpose grants you stamina because the why outweighs the how hard. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, you don't burn out. You burn brighter. Order and structure don't mean rigidity. They mean awareness. When you know your numbers, when you track your progress, when you build systems for your time, your finances, and your goals, you begin to create something sustainable. You stop living in reaction and start living with intention. You become proactive. You become predictable in your output. And wealth respects that. It's simple to say, I want to be rich. It's difficult to create a life that rich living feels at home in. Chaos repels wealth, clarity attracts. You can make a lot of money and lose it as quickly as you make it if you lack structure, lack a plan, lack discipline. That's why becoming organized mentally, emotionally, and financially is not a choice. It's necessary. Imagine your life as a house. If the foundation is poor, regardless of how gorgeous the furniture is, it won't endure. The storms will arrive. The distractions will arrive. The challenges will arrive. But when your foundation is firm, your thinking is clear, your priorities are established, your schedule is organized, your habits are aligned, then you can ride anything out and still prevail. So invest time to assess. Invest time to establish order in your routines, order in your goals, clarity in your vision. That's what success is attracted to. That's what makes a magnet for growth, revenue, and influence. And then once you establish that structure, the gains don't just arrive, they linger. Behave like the person you wish to be before the outcomes arrive. This is one of the most misinterpreted concepts regarding success, but it's also one of the most powerful. Most people wait. They wait for evidence before belief, for reward before action, for applause before consistency. But that's not how it works. If you desire to draw in a new level of results, you have to get into the identity of the individual who brings about those results long before they ever get there. That's the secret. You don't pretend, you align with it. You act today as if the future you already exists within you. That means you walk with purpose in front of the world before they give you credit. You arrive on schedule even if nobody is looking. You do excellent work when nobody is checking on you. You persist in being consistent even when outcomes are still tiny. Why? Because you know who you're becoming. The actions precede the results. That's how you change. It's not magic. Its maturity is, I will act according to my vision, not my circumstances. If you want to be an entrepreneurial success, begin behaving like one today. Build systems, prioritize, build your leadership. Don't wait until the company is large. Become the type of person who could head a large company before the company exists. If you want to gain financial freedom, then begin behaving like someone who handles money wisely today, even if it's just a little money. Track it. Treat it with respect. Save it. Steward it wisely. The disciplines you establish in your present season are the basis for the coming season that you're praying for. The individual who waits for ideal circumstances never gets up. Circumstances don't cause action. Actions bring about better circumstances. When you behave in the way that you aspire to become, you inform your mind and body that the change has already begun. Your subconscious mind starts rewiring. Your expectations improve. Your self-concept changes. And people start to react to you in a new way. Not because your surroundings changed, but because you did. This principle isn't pretending or playing a role. It's being a person of value prior to rewards. It's creating habits prior to external motivation. It's being consistent prior to success. That's how actual success is achieved. It's being present like a pro before you're getting paid like one. The world compensates for identity more than potential. And once your identity is established in discipline, vision, and excellence, results will eventually follow. So don't wait to feel like it's just start behaving like it. Success doesn't ask if you're prepared. It observes what you're doing when nobody's applauding. That's what determines you. And here's the thing. People don't become the level of their goals. They drop to the level of their system and standards. When you elevate your standard of conduct, your results start to change. This leads directly into the next powerful truth. Small daily decisions shape your financial destiny. It's not the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that changes everything. It's the dozens of small, quiet choices you make every single day. What you do when no one's watching. How you spend that extra hour. What you feed your mind with in the morning. Whether you spend impulsively or save intentionally. These little decisions are the true builders of wealth. Humans are always expecting a breakthrough. But they forget that the power of follow-through is stronger. They believe that success will result from one great thing, one great idea, or one great opportunity. But the truth is, wealth is created by repetition, routine, and responsibility. Each time you say no to something you do not need, you are building financial muscles. Each time you decide to invest minutes in learning rather than mindless scrolling, you're building mental equity. Each time you work to a budget, even a stringent one, you are building control. That control builds. There's nothing glamorous about discipline. It's not sexy to say no to entertainment for the sake of saying yes to growth. It's not sexy to monitor expenses, forego comfort, and learn principles of finance when everyone else is pursuing trends. These are what distinguish the financially free from the financially frustrated. One is driven by intention, the other is driven by impulse. It's your small, everyday choices that tell the story of your financial life. And the story is constantly being written. Each day is a sentence. Every week is a paragraph. Every year is a chapter. What's the type of story you're writing with your decisions? Are you heading towards freedom or deeper towards stress? Are you heading towards leverage or deeper into limitation? Most individuals do not lose ground financially due to a single egregious error. They lose it incrementally, one cup of coffee at a time, one uncompensated expense at a time, one evaded conversation at a time. It is the small drips that fill the bucket. And the good news is, the principle in reverse applies to you. Small good choices compound. One good investment becomes two. One book spawns another. 1 hour of study leads to the opening of a new concept leading to a new opportunity. That's how momentum is generated. Not overnight, but over a period of time. Begin by getting mastery over the little things. Understand where your money is being spent. Develop the habit of saying no to things that don't contribute to your long-term vision. Practice delaying gratification, not indefinitely, but long enough to create something substantial. Develop systems that make success easier. Automate savings. Develop routines. Review goals. Monitor progress. These activities might seem tiny, but over a period of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, they bring about change. Your financial future is not established by your past. It's created by your now. And the now is full of choices, big ones and small ones. Don't diminish the force of compounding decisions. You are either compounding stress or compounding strength. There's no in between. Every choice is taking you somewhere. Make good ones. The individual who gets rich is not the smartest nor the most well-connected. It's typically the one who knows how to make small, intelligent decisions day in and day out. The one who arrives. The one who is present. The one who continues to arrive even when it's dull, even when it's challenging, even when no one sees. That reliability writes the actual success story. When you put the law of behaving as the person you want to be together with the practice of making little purposeful decisions on a daily basis, you get a force that's difficult to hinder. You start living in accordance with the desired future. You start sowing seeds which develop into actual outcomes. The life you desire is not constructed in one day, but it is constructed on a daily basis. Every decision is a brick. Every step is more than an action. And every time you opt for alignment instead of impulse, vision instead of distraction, discipline instead of convenience, you construct something that will endure. You have to think like the person who is worthy of success before the world ever allows you to live it. Because wealth doesn't pursue need, it pursues value. And you are the source of that value. Condition your mind to think solutions, not limitations. That's where opportunity resides. While everyone else freezes at problems, you rise because you've learned to think rich, and mere thinking isn't sufficient. You have to take action. Take action with discipline. Take action with purpose. Take action as if the future you is watching, because they are. Success isn't one in one grand moment. It's secreted in the small, everyday choices. The things you do when nobody's looking. The quiet disciplines that go unseen today, but forge empires tomorrow. Be the one who arrives early, who completes what they begin, who handles small money as if it's millions, who establishes higher standards than those around them. You don't catch success by chance. You catch it by being the kind of person who's prepared for it. Not someday. Now think rich. Define act rich. To meet you.